story is The Underneath, and the author's name is Kathy Appel.
The main character is a Calcio cat, and her problem is she's
Calcio cat?
Calico.
Thank you, Calico cat.
a calico cat, and she's about to have kittens, but she's in the middle of the forest, and so she hears a dog howling, and she follows the howl, and she ends up at this like really run down house, and there's a dog.
Okay,
She
so that's the problem. That there's a cat who's gonna have kittens.
and she's in the middle
She's in the middle of the forest. She finds a house where there's a dog chained to the house. That sounds like a pretty big problem, right? Okay.
At the beginning, the cat gets abandoned on the side of the road and makes a mess in the forest, then goes to the hound's house.
Okay.
in the middle, they get to know each other, and the cat has kittens.
And in the end, the family gets better and all of the problems are solved.
Okay. So
That's like all you can say without giving anything away.
All right.
The genre of this book is fantasy.
The theme of this
Hold on. What's your evidence for it being fantasy?
The animals talk.
The animals can talk. The animals like talk to each other.
And there's a snake that
And they
lived for
communicate.
1,000 years.
And there's a 100-foot alligator that's been.
Okay, so there's some fantastical elements in it.
Yeah.
But we've had this discussion before about whether or not we think animals can talk to each other, and remember, we're divided. Some of us think yes, they can, and some of us think no, they can't. So, okay, so you have other evidence to back up the fact that it's fantasy.
And the snake can turn into a human.
Okay?
But only once.
But only once, okay. What's the theme?
The theme will probably be overcoming challenges.
Because, what's your evidence for that?
There's so many like 5 times that the characters run into through the book, such as the snake grandmother moccasin, the 1,000-year-old one, and all the other people. Oh, and Garface.
I was waiting for somebody to talk about Garface.
He got his name because when he was little, his dad punched him in the face, and his face was all swelled up. And a gar is like a creature that I think it was underwater because I saw one in the aquarium.
Okay.
And like it has a really messed up face. And
Okay.
so he got named Garface because his face has like a big like hole inside or something like that.
Is he a good character or a not good character?
Definitely a not good.
Well, why would you say that? Why would you say not good?
He tries to kill the animals.
Right, he's
Yeah.
abusive, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
And,
go ahead. Nathan.
he has his dog chained up to the pole, and he like barely ever feeds it.
Okay, so that's good to know. If you are someone who is an animal lover and gets easily disturbed by stories of animal abuse, this may not be the book for you. However, it may be the book for you because of the ending.
Yes.
All right, so definitely overcoming challenges as your universal theme. Were there any other themes in this book?
Animals,
Okay.
family,
Mm-hmm.
Teamwork
Mm-hmm.
and friends.
Okay, so why family? I'm curious.
because they're kind of like a family, but
Like
friends.
Yeah.
We've
Because
just-
Ranger is sort of like the 2 baby cats' dad,
Uh-huh.
and so we're considering them they consider themselves as family.
Okay, so they consider themselves as family. Turn and talk to each other about what we've said about families in this class.
It's really good
Okay, so there was a lot of discussion there. I heard many of the same things. What have we said about families? Everybody?
Families come in all
They
different
sit
shapes,
together, but they also come
in all different shapes and sizes.
So, all right, interesting. Okay, what would you give it? Did you love it?
Yes.
Yes. What would you give it?
A 10.
Definitely a 10. And just
I would give it more if I could.
give it more if I could. What goal were you working on when you were reading this book together?
Well, we were working on like keeping track of all the the important events that happen, because a lot of important stuff happens.
Okay, and why were you doing that?
So that we could like check in with each other and see if we're reading the story right.
Okay, so for
Yeah.
comprehension strategy. Good job. Did you track anything else, or was that the main thing you were working on?
That was the main thing we were working on, but there was a little vocabulary in there.
So how did you keep track of that?
Well, I didn't really keep track of it, but like I think a couple of times we had to talk about a couple of different words.
All right, so that might be a goal for next time.
Yes.
All right, questions for Nathan and Aiden about the underneath, which was a Newbery Honor book.
Would you say it's like a just right book for like right now or upcoming in the spring?
Good question.
Maybe a little later in the year.
Why would you say a little later in the year?
It has about like 500
All right, it's long.
pages.
Right, right. I would definitely say it's long. You really have to hang in there with it.
And there are some sad parts in it.
But if you're like
311 pages, but they're heavy duty. There's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot to keep track of.
So how did you know it was just right for you?
Well, I actually thought it was a challenge.
You did think it was a bit of a challenge.
Yes.
What
I
made
thought
it
was
a
like
challenge?
half just right, half challenge.
Okay.
Because there was so much going on.
Which is why you picked
And a
your...
lot
Yeah.
of characters to
And there are a lot of
interact
characters.
1,000 years ago and in the present.
Right, there's that piece. So good question. So it would be one that you would have to read. Was it better to read it together?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe one
So
you
we
could
could
read
talk
with a
to each
partner and talk to each other about. All right. Which is why I think you read it a second time, right? Or you're on your third reread.
Oh, wow.
Okay, awesome. Another question?
Exactly.
the vocabulary get hard some parts in the book.
Not
A little bit.
only a couple times, like once or twice.
When you were keeping track of the important events, did you like have to like talk to like each other? Because like, did you ever get like off track at some points?
A couple times, not a lot. But
All right. One more.
James.
When you were doing your housekeeping, would you say to read like 2 chapters a night, or like how would you?
We basically just read, and then the person that might have been